The best podcasts picked fresh for you. This is Podcast Pick on East Coast Radio.
Guys, you know that normally I would pick a history or a science podcast, which is where I live.
Yeah.
But there's something that jumped out at me. It's called Mevrou Mevrou.
Ooh,
It's a
Mevrou
podcast.
Mevrou.
Yeah, this is where you hear what a Mevrou's life is really all about. It's a dose of laughing out loud and crying those long tears, long trane, asking for mercy, pleading for patience, everyday things on a tray, and not with tea, just normal tray. So these ladies don't do tea and sandwiches. Gerda de Souza and Diane Broodryk are not your everyday tannies either. They are 2 times 2. They are Mevrou Mevrou. And the podcast is about 50 minutes long, and it's got all the things. You go through the entire gambit of emotions in one podcast. I would call it delightful. Look out for Mevrou Mevrou.
Darren, does it replace Seven Delon?
I think so. I think that's where I've got a gap. I have a gap in my life.
Okay, I'll get you, bro.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna
Give it a bash.
Is it subtitle?
Podcast.
Well, it is a podcast. So.
I know.
Okay. Well, I'm going with something a bit different this morning. It's one of my favorites. I've been watching this podcast for years now, before it became as big as it is. So it's called the Jay Shetty Podcast, and you might know him from social media. And I know not everybody's a big fan, but he's a storyteller, podcaster, and former monk with a clear vision, as he calls it, to make wisdom go viral in an accessible, relevant, and practical way. Every week, they do videos on various topics, motivation, wisdom, love, and it's all under his name. I do want to say he's done some really cool interviews in the past. A few that I've enjoyed. He's spoken to Khloe Kardashian, Kim Kardashian. He did a really cool interview with Alicia Keys, Kobe Bryant, and end of last year he spoke to our very own Trevor Noah, it was wonderful. But he kind of brings that emotion and that deepness to commercialism. But here's a bit of his interview with billionaire Michael Milken on shaping the future of healthcare.
I experienced this with my father's death in the 1970s, and it was the first time my economic theories were tested during a period of time from 73 to 77, which I would call my financial clinical trials, all the ideas that I had developed. And by the mid-1970s, I had become independently wealthy with the success of those ideas.
Come on, ready?
Yes.
I just want to say something about this guy.
Yeah.
He's always on my Instagram
Right.
as an ad.
Like a motivational.
really?
Oh, sponsored ad.
Sponsored and like, bro, like
Oh.
I'll get you. Like
Maybe
You're
check
not
your
into
algorithm.
it.
Maybe you just do search for a little less Deepak Chopra and Oprah. You'll get less Jay Shetty.
no, but that's like it's all.
There's nothing wrong with Deepak.
Nothing wrong. No one's judging.
Oh.
Just saying, if you don't want that, then
Okay.
check your algorithm,
Okay,
bro.
Mevrous.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Guys, we also have a guest podcaster who is going to share their pick for the week.
Oh.
Hi, my name is Sean Lewitz. I'm the host of Some Assembly Required. My podcast pick is an unscripted interview show with inanimate objects called Everything is Alive. It's available on all major podcast platforms, and episodes are roughly 20 minutes long. I love it because it's smart, can be quite touching, and at times some real laugh out loud, funny examinations of the human condition. So listen and prepare to think deeply about yourself, to laugh and maybe even shed a tear. My favorite episodes are Sean, the subway seat, and Louis, the can of cola. Crazy, I know. You got to give it a listen.
Yeah, so that is our guest podcast. Guest podcast. It sounds like quite an interesting.
That's the one I'm going to check on the drive
Yeah.
home today. Nice.
I like that. But also, guys, I know you guys are quite good at like navigating podcasts and all that kind of stuff. But we also have the frequently asked questions section, which you can send to breakfast@ecr.co.za. Terrence from Port Edward wants to know what it means to follow or subscribe to a podcast.
So first off, subscribing to a podcast is absolutely free. Subscription in this context is the same as, say, following a page or an account on social media. And by subscribing or following a podcast, you'll get access to the latest episode as soon as it gets released. Easy.
The best podcasts picked fresh for you. It's Podcast Pick on East Coast Radio.